Jacksonville has won 3 straight, but Houston took both in last year's series. Hey, how are you, folks? Jason Horowitz and NFL.com's Pat Kirwan with you, breaking down 3-2 Houston, 3-1 Jacksonville, and this Jaguars defense facing a Texans franchise that is above 500 after 5 games for the first time in franchise history. But they don't have a deep threat. They don't, at least without Andre Johnson, without the other receivers, they haven't had a guy that can stretch the field. How is it possible that Matt Schaub is doing this?
Well, Matt Schaub is a very accurate passer, and he goes where you tell him to go with the football. As he drops, he reads coverage very well, and that's why he's completing 71% of his passes. He makes average players function very well inside that system. But your point is well taken. Without the home run threat player on the field, this turns into these 17, 12-play, 14-play drives of 5- and 6-yard gains. And at the end of the day, most defenses are going to bet that you can't function without making a mistake or causing a penalty or dropping a ball.
Well, part of that involves running the football. And Gary Kubiak came out this week and said the bottom line is we're not a very good running team, talking about his Houston Texans squad. How do they run against Jacksonville with a healthy John Henderson?
Yep, Ahman Green's going to be back in the game, and I think that you're going to see that they're going to get some outside stuff going on. You cannot run the ball inside against Stroud and Henderson. Too big, too physical. And I spent some time down in Jacksonville this summer, and off the record, a lot of guys circled the Houston games. Their record against Houston's not very good, and in the 2 losses last year, Jacksonville gave up 40 points. There's an intent by this defense to take care of old business and shut this thing down.
Taking care of business is something that the offense has done because David Garrard has managed football game after football game after football game, and he's done it by not turning it over. I believe he's the only starter in the NFL without an interception. What do you see in David Garrard that maybe you didn't see in the years past?
I like David Garrard, and coaches that were on the last staff that were fired, offensive coaches, told me he should have been the quarterback the whole time. So you fire the coaches, you bring in the new coaches, and a month into it, they're going, hey, I think Garrard might be better than Leftwich. Could we please? So now they finally got it. They're playing him. You're right. He hasn't thrown an interception yet, but an interesting point about him, and he's a defensive head coach. He's a dream for him. Why? He's been sacked 14 times. He is not going to throw the ball carelessly down the field and give a turnover to the opponent. He'll take the sack, they'll punt, and they'll live to fight another day. And that's why a defensive guy like Jack Del Rio loves having Garrard on the field. And the other component to this guy is he can run. The guy has over 100 yards rushing. In a game like this, look for 6 to 7 runs by Garrard for about 30 yards. 2 of them will move the chains for first downs.
And when you add that to the element of Maurice Jones-Drew and Fred Taylor, and by the way, Jones-Drew finally had that breakout game here this year, what does that do for this team?
Well, another guy I talked to this week, Maurice Jones-Drew, what a classic kid this kid. He's got great pride, and he did not like the way the loser was going. He wanted to take more on his shoulders than Jack wanted to give him. But between those 2 backs, they will pound the football, and they're going to need to run away from Amobi Okoye, who's getting in the backfield along with Mario, and run hard to the right side and stick with the run. And I think that we're going to see Jacksonville take care of last year's problems and win this football game.
Amobi Okoye, they say in Houston, still has a little bit to learn, but let's not forget let's not forget the kid's 20 years old, 19 years old.
And he's leading the National Football League in sacks for defensive tackles. And he's got over 10. He's got 14 tackles now, 4 sacks, and a forced fumble. I'll take that all day long from a 20-year-old.
Let's throw all those numbers, including the fact that he's 20 years old, into the computer and get the AccuScore prediction. It is 10,000 tests, 10,000 results, and here's what it came up with for this game. Wow, that's a big, big advantage to the Jaguars, and the computer really likes them 76% of the time. Pat, you said you think the Jaguars are going to win. Will it be a big victory?
I don't know that it can be a big victory because Matt Schaub's too cool under pressure. He'll keep this thing going, and he'll keep moving the ball down the field, but I could see him win by more than 10 points. I could see that happening. Jacksonville's a conservative team. They're going to get a 7 to 10 point lead. You're going to see Jack sit on it and play defense. They're not a team that keeps attacking like a Patriot team.
It's not a sexy team, but it is a very effective team down there in Jacksonville. The 2 kick it off at 1 p.m. Eastern on CBS. For more on this game or any other in Week 6, be sure to stay with CBSSports.com and watch everything all over the CBS Audience Network. For Pat Kirwan, I'm Jason Horowitz. Take care.